So the first thing we need to do when you're editing the sound on your piece is to make sure that the levels of the voiceover and the interview are both the same and they're both consistent throughout every piece we do. We want to make sure they're between -12 and -6 on the audio meter on the right hand side of the screen, so around about here. So let's play back a little piece of the voiceover.
And painstaking task. Measuring, marking and cutting piece of wood.
And you can see that's just a little bit too quiet, so I need to make it a bit louder. So if I expand that track a bit and then raise up that line by just a couple, should do it. And now if I play that back,
after piece of wood. But for Eddie Foster, it's a labour of love.
It's peaking just over -12 here, which is just about perfect. So I need to do that with the other pieces of voiceover, and then I also need to do the interview.
And they don't want to come away to go and look at other bits of the site, they want to watch the water wheel.
The interview's a little bit quiet as well, so I'm going to raise up that line in the middle there a little bit more, and that should make it...
Children around, and adults.
And that's now about the same as the voiceover. So they're equal and consistent, which is how they should be. The next part is to check out the background sounds, and we need to hear something here, but it doesn't need to be so loud that it intrudes over the top of the voiceover. So I'm going to lower these ones down. For these ones which are quite quiet, maybe about -10, but it is just a question of trial and error. And for something a bit louder, like this sawing shot, maybe it should come down to the region of -20 something. And so now if I play that one back,
simple but vital one to replace the...
we can still hear the sounds of the sawing, but it's not so loud that it's intruding over the top of the voiceover. So that's good as well. There's some other things that you might want to do to help with your sound editing. For example, sometimes you might want to fade between two sounds. So here,
the worn and rotting timber teeth on the industrial...
there's quite a noticeable jump between the background sounds. So if they faded together, that would be much less harsh. So to do that, go to the Effects tab on the left-hand side, go into the Audio Transitions folder and then the Crossfade folder, and drag the highlighted one that says Constant Power over the top of the edit. And now,
the worn and rotting timber teeth on the industrial...
that edit is much more subtle because it fades between the background sounds. You might also want to do this on your interviews, at the beginning or at the end, but the default transition is 1 second long, and that's probably a bit long. It's probably going to blur the words at the beginning. So double click on the transition and make it much shorter, maybe something like 5 frames. That's 1/5 of a second. And so that should be a much better fade for the beginning of your interview. One more thing you might want to do is when you're adding natural sound to your piece is to make just one part of a clip louder. So for example here, I want the sound of the man pressing the button to be louder, so I'm going to drag that up to the top. But now this part at the end is too loud to hear the voiceover properly. So I'm going to expand the timeline so we can see what's going on. And then I'm going to add some audio keyframes by pressing Command and clicking on the line. And there's a second one there. You need 2 points to help you do every change you're going to make. So the sound will now be loud to hear, and then I can drag the second keyframe down, and so the sound will be quiet here just before the voiceover begins.
The aim is a simple...
So that's how you can add natural sound to your piece.